Welcome to Waifuware, ladies and gentlemen. You're all familiar with the concept of shovelware. Well, today I introduce to you Waifuware. On this program, we're going to take a look at all those cheap Waifuware Steam games trying to bait you into spending your hard-earned dollar at the promise of some anime titty. And on today's episode, the very first episode of Waifuware, we're starting with Deep Space Waifu.
Waifuware.
So yeah, this is Deep Space Waifu, a golden example of what $1 can get you on a Steam Waifuware title. At least that's $1 US on a Steam summer sale. After rate of exchange, this was like $100 Canadian, but we'll not get into that. This game is exactly what it looks like. It's a top-down shoot-'em-up not quite crazy enough to be a bullet hell, made by Neko Climax Studios and published by Hammerfist Studios on Steam in May of 2017. You play as a ship and battle other ships that mostly die in 1 to 5 shots. There aren't too many enemy types or bosses in the game, and frankly none of them are inspired, with many of the bosses appearing several times over. For $1, of course, it's not like I can really expect much more from this. Left mouse click to shoot, right mouse click to use a special. There's 3 specials in the game, but only one can be taken into a stage at a time, and must be chosen before the stage starts. The stages themselves don't offer too much. The backgrounds are all made up of waifus in space as per the title. This is in some way meant to be a representation of taking a girl out on a date. As you fire on the enemies, you can also damage your waifu's clothing. Damaging and destroying all of her clothing will offer up some full frontal nudity provided you enabled the uncensored mod. A very easy mod to install. While I'm sure it seems destroying all of their clothes is the ultimate end goal, that's not always the case. The hardest difficulty in the game, known as Gentleman's Mode, is an instant game over if you destroy even a single piece of clothing. If you want to marry your waifu, you must beat Gentleman's Mode. To be a gentleman, you can't take advantage of your waifu. Despite offering mouse, controller, and keyboard support, different levels of difficulty will restrict how you can play. I won't lie, I like to play like a scrub and use mouse-only controls, which is basically super easy mode in this game. The game also jokes about mouse-only being one-hand mode because, you know, you'll want your other hand for other things. Considering the quality of the art in this game, one-handed mode is being a bit generous. The art in this game is okay, but it's subpar. Oftentimes you will see bodies reused with some assets such as clothing, breast size, and faces changed out. And from what I've seen, the DLC characters aren't really any better. And yes, there are DLC girls, and a lot of them. I won't be buying or reviewing the DLC. It kinda sucks that the art isn't of the best quality either, because if you click through to the artist's Facebook page from the credits section of the game, it's clear the artists are capable of much better than this, and I just don't think many people will be discovering them through this game. The game does have a decent and self-aware sense of humor I can appreciate. If you are at all interested in playing this game for the gameplay, play it in retro mode. This mode looks and feels pretty cool with this aesthetic, and the music they got for it really sells the experience of drifting in deep space waifu. I found myself looking into the band after playing this game, and that was a pretty neat experience. As a metalhead, it isn't 100% up my alley, but I can totally vibe to this on rare occasions. From a technical standpoint, the game runs very well, although sometimes the interface and menus don't do what they're supposed to. Quite a few times I selected to quit a stage and it just reset instead. Other times my ship would lock into a corner after dying for a brief moment. The game is also riddled with typos, but it's probably safe to assume most people aren't reading this shit anyway. The character bios are heavy with errors that I assume nobody would notice, but anybody who plays this should at least notice this one. Destroy any part of any clothes and it's day over. Practice get good and you can truly become her senpai. The game also comes with a folder of images you can use as backgrounds, and you can make more for this folder when beating a stage. I won't be setting any of these as desktop images, but I can appreciate the sentiment. I beat this game in about an hour, and that was enough for me. Of course I say this, but I know those Deep Space Waifu elitists are gonna be like, Tarks, you gotta beat every girl's stage on Gentleman Mode before you put the game down or review it. All one of those Deep Space Waifu elitists. Come at me, bro. Now, none of this is to say the game was bad. It really isn't. Everything it does okay at best. Never great, never absolutely terrible, although the art is just above being just that. If it's in your library, it's fun to throw on for half an hour on a lazy Saturday afternoon to kill some time, but you'll be hard-pressed to get much more out of it. And that's all I have to say on Deep Space Waifu. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Waifuware. These videos aren't going to be as big as my regular videos, so I kinda want to keep them as a separate series. If you liked the video at all, you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, jack off on your monitor, whatever you want to do, you know guys, it's up to you. With that, I'm gonna say peace out. I hope to see you on the next episode of Waifuware, and thanks for watching.